It is November 30th, 2024. I just wanted to talk a bit about like death, I guess. I don't know. What's weird is like death, it's always been, I don't know. Death is more like it's just not. It's like dried blood. Death is like it's weird because it's been romanticized in a sense, like um think like Sleeping Beauty, like this, you think of death, it's just like, it's just like this, the girl like sleeping, but no, it involves like, you gotta think, it's so weird, the body, because death is death of like organs, and awareness is the product of so this, it basically comes down to evolutionary theory, the idea that atoms, which are the smallest, you have non-matter, you have matter and non-matter. Matter, atoms, the smallest, I mean, just teeny tiny atoms. You can't break it down any further. The smallest bit, like look at pixels. I'm thinking of pixels. Like think of pixels, just tiny. That's matter, atoms, and basically over time, the theory is that, like, for example, it's the idea that over time atoms will eventually form more complex um entities. Atom makes up molecules, molecules make up compounds, compounds make up oh, whatever the fuck, organelles, organelles make up cells, cells make up cell tissue, cell tissue makes up organs, organs make up organisms, organisms or organ systems, or organ systems make up an organism. And then you can go further than that, but that's the basic premise of the theory of evolution. And it's just real interesting. Like, but oh, my fucking screen turned black. I don't know why it does that. The reason it's interesting is with well, death. It's like, you know, like take my dad for example. He's been dead for like 6 years now. No, like 5 maybe. I don't know, but take him like in 2015. Just him in 2015. Um, like take him and give me a broadsword and just cut him in half vertically like that, and his eyeballs like, you know, and that's effectively what happened just 3 years later. That's death, man. It's just weird how the body, the disfigurement, because that's what like cremation is, the disfigurement. Like for example, there's a lot of videos on the internet of like there's this one girl who had glioblastoma, the same type of cancer my dad had, and and she was kind of hot, she had a husband and all this, and she had like a nice life ahead of her. Nope. Get the glioblastoma. Was like, nope. Mm-mm. Like like what's that John Cena? It's like when he's sticking his head out. That's what the glioblastoma did. And she's like, ah, shit. All right, whatever. So let me go visit Utah. Let me do all this cool shit. And then let me, she basically killed herself. Like drank some poison and killed herself. And yeah, now her eyeballs are like in her hand, and her body's all disfigured and shit. It's just weird now, It's just strange to me. I don't know. And there's another one of this girl, this old lady. She was much older, and she was having like a euthanasia party, like, oh, everyone, all of her friends come together and like, yeah, just have cake and all this stuff. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna kill myself because I am terminally ill. And here's my like here's my question. I mean, if we're gonna do that, and because like your body is going, your body's going to like deteriorate because the technology to preserve it simply does not exist currently. So why not cut your hand off prior to the euthanasia? Just cut it off, just to see what it's like not to have a hand in the brief moments that I mean, because your hand's going to effectively get cut off regardless. So why not cut it off then, just to see what it's like? Ooh, and this is getting like Gro-esque, like kind of gore. Oh, well, that's just the reality of the situation. I mean, your head is effectively going to get smashed. Take my head, or like take the head of like some like hot girl, you know, like, oh, she's all hot and all this stuff. Get a wall hammer and just like that's effectively what happens after they die, dude. You know, it's not nothing like all this beauty shit. I mean, they become atomized, atomized. Atoms. We are atoms. We are the amalgamation of atoms that have come together through natural processes. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. That is why it is the official. Anyways, it's just strange how it's like how this world is like. There's like, for example, I was playing Valorant before filming this with this girl and this little kid and this other dude, and they were like being silly and all this. And what's weird about women is they all sound the same. They all sound the same. Guys too, to an extent, but women all sound the same. And another thing about, it's what's weird is like their voices, like you can. So the kid I was playing with, he was 13, I think. He said that, and he had like a high pitched voice or whatever. And the girl, um, she kind of she had a high pitched voice too, but it was distinct. It was not a kid's voice. It was a girl's voice. It wasn't a young man's voice. It was a woman's voice. And what's weird is like how you tell the difference. There's a certain sound that women's voices have that differentiates it from little men's voice, young men's voices or whatever. And a white shirt. But it's just interesting. And like unidentified earthly bodies that they find, like dead and shit. It's like it's just strange, like they're like redoing their faces and all that shit, trying to like, you know, find their identities and all that. Like what's so weird is like I remember back in 2018, um, no, this would have been 2019. I was 18, but this was in 2019. Damn. I was in Arkansas. I was in Arkansas, and I was like for the college. I used to go to this Christian college, and we were building houses or whatever, for helping to build houses. We barely helped. It's dumb. These things should be done by the state, not by churches and volunteers. They should be done by the government. Anyways, um, in the process of it or whatever, I came about this article, and it was talking about, or I came about, I never seen an unidentified earthly body. That whole thing, that whole concept, it was completely brand new to me. I've never knew about it. I never heard about it or anything. And I saw it, and I showed my brother, and I'm like, oh, check this out. Because I've seen missing posters, and those are, when I was young, those kind of used to creep me out and kind of like, oh, that's weird. But unidentified earthly body, that, what's weird is it showed a person, and I think it was like, I can't remember. I think it was a person like it was a dead person, but they made it look like they were alive. But it's just strange. It's creepy. It's weird. It's just weird, my nigga. It's weird. And I remember seeing that and showing my brother, and he's like, no, that person's alive. I'm like, no, I don't think they are alive. I think they're dead. And it's just creepy because the whole concept. I mean, I don't know why I've never even thought about it. The whole concept of like unidentified earthly bodies. Like, of course, there's gonna be dead bodies that they don't know who they are and they can't identify them, and it's like that never came to mind. But it's so weird, and it seems like such a barbaric thing, which it is barbaric. Death is barbaric. Guns are barbaric. Swords are barbaric. Anything that has to do with killing is purely barbaric. But it's just so strange how I was so new to that concept of seeing like a dead, unidentified body and all that shit. And I just, that whole time I was there in Arkansas, I just went through on my phone. I went through like shit, looking at unidentified earthly bodies and all that on my phone. And I'm like, that's so weird. This is weird. But and it was just so strange because then I was like, oh, there's the theme of being in. We went to the college town there for a night or whatever, and me and my brother, we were the youngest ones there. We were 18. Everyone else was like in their, probably my age currently right now. And they were all doing their own thing. I'm so shocked. I don't know what the fuck to do. I just want to, but it's just weird because there's like this kind of vibe in Arkansas. Like it was this cool little coffee. It's hard to explain this vibe. That I think there might be a name for it. The word cheek comes to mind. Cheek, CHIC. That word comes to mind to explain this kind of environment, this kind of theme, where it's like hipster, collegey, hipster, mountains, coffee shop. It was that theme. And I remember in this coffee shop there was like this. There was something that had like the lineage of all coffee drinks or something like that. It's in Fayetteville, if you ever go there. But it was just so weird because like there's like that theme, and that theme exists in this world with this other thing called unidentified earthly bodies, and that's creepy as fuck. It's just so strange to me. It's just weird, man. Dead bodies are strange. How you feel when they're just like empty shells. Yeah. Damn, I got strong like brow ridge. This in my hair, like, maybe it's because this thing was like pretty pronounced, but I don't know. But yeah, another thing I discovered is that horses are just human beings. They just kind of like how there's different variants of humans that are genetically different, like East Asians with their like, sorry, and then like Africans with like their like all humans have their features. Horses are like that, the same thing, just way further different in the sense that Asians or East Asians and Africans and whatever the fuck are different from us, as in white, whatever. It's the same. That same thing applies to horses. Just they're more different than us, and that makes sense. That's the basic theory of evolution, man. And all, or is a transition species. They're dead, dude. Like, god damn it. It's so annoying having to explain this shit to a Christian because they're just fucking dumb. They just want to. Christians just want to like, oh Jesus. Jesus, we love you. That's all they want to do. But yeah. Another thing is, I don't want to off topic much, but I remember like when I was going to my aunt. Her name is Aunt Helen, I think that's her name. I don't know why, but the happy stranger, that's what I called her. I don't know why. That's just whatever. I think her name was Aunt Helen. And I remember going to her funeral back in like 2012. 2012, I think, pretty sure it was 2012. Almost 100%. And it was weird because I remember seeing the sign that had Jesus' name on it at the church where, she was being whatever. And I'm like, who the fuck is Jesus? And it's because, like, in hindsight, now that I'm older, I now know, like, yeah, I understand Christianity's a cult that became state-sponsored, and I understand that now. And what's interesting is that, like, there's people, so many people who are, like, older than me and have died and all this shit who never understood that. Like, I'm the first to really understand, like, yeah, it's a cult. Like, my grandmother, who's 89, still doesn't understand that Christianity's a fucking cult. At 89, she can't understand that. And I don't know, but it's just interesting. That's kind of interesting. But it's just weird how there's all these themes in life, man. And I don't know. I guess part of youth is the excitement and anticipation for the existence of a future. When there's no future, that's the definition of depressing. When there's no future, I mean, nothing's more depressing than there not being a future. I mean, really, that is depressing. That is just terribly depressing. Just the idea of, like, no future. But it is so weird how there's these themes. I don't know. I call them themes. I don't know how to explain what they are. Themes, like the cheek environment, chick, whatever, however you pronounce it. Or like, Pride and Prejudice era, or like a big one for me was Pirates of the Caribbean era. Like, it's all fun and exciting and adventurous and yeah, future, yeah, cool, interesting. And then I'm like, wow, that same world exists. Death. But then it's kind of like, well, if death didn't exist, it would be real. I don't know. It's another interesting thing. Like, if it was boring, I use that word vaguely. If it was boring, it wouldn't be fun. But it's just weird. Like, you can take my head and just like, and that effectively is what happens after you die. Death is so strange. Death is so weird. It's just weird, and we're so desensitized to it. Like, I saw this video of these this is a huge derailment of what I've been talking about, but these cops, they euthanized some snakes, and this dude was holding. And he's a fucking snake breeder, and I don't like that. I don't like people who breed animals and sell their kids. I do not like that at all. Unethical. Unethical. Especially cats and dogs. Especially those, because cats and dogs, this dude was breeding snakes, and that's a bit more of a niche thing. But cats and dogs, like, no, there's too many orphan cats and dogs in the world for people to be breeding them and selling them. Those people need to be cracked down on. Those people need to have their businesses destroyed and whatever. But yeah, they killed a pregnant boa constrictor, and the dude's like, fuck, dude, I told you not to kill that one. Like, hey, I'm sorry, bro. The state will pay. Don't worry, it's all fine. He's like, no, that's a hunt. And after he said the state will pay, the dude's like, oh my god, dude, she had babies that were worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and all this shit. I'm like, nah, dude, you shouldn't get a fucking dime. Fuck you. Tax dollars are not gonna go to you. They're gonna go, like, we shouldn't, and that's the thing with society, we shouldn't live in a society where it's all about me, my standard of living, me. No, or like, me, I need to, like, have land, and I need to ride horses and shit. No, man, all that matters is the fucking future, my nigga. Overcoming our situation, that's all that matters. And yes, you need the state to do that. Like, I was talking to these anarcho-libertarian fucking people, and I hate them so much. They need to be shot and put in the concentration camps. But he's like, oh, cancer research shouldn't be publicly funded. It should be privately funded. They should be rewarded based off their findings, whatever. Like that, you understand how like ludicrous that is, to reward for scientists to be paid based off their findings and discoveries or whatever, versus like the way science works. First off, is people do shit in the past, and then people in the future add on to what those people the people in the past, they find something, they discover something, they publish it, and then people in the future use those past whatever and they expand onto it, and then that's the way science works. We over time improve on what we already know because there's infrastructure. And when you make scientists be profit motivated, which if they were profit motivated, they wouldn't be scientists, because scientists, I mean, fundamentally work for the university, and the university is funded by the government, and that's good. That's a good thing. That's how it should be. I mean, there's nothing more noble than everyone paying taxes to find a cure for cancer. That is the most based socialistic thing ever. This video's gone long enough. 21 minutes. Alright, I'm gonna end it.